Welcome to the Courage to Live podcast. My name is Josh Bitsko. I'm a retired police captain with 24 years of experience out of Las Vegas. Currently, I travel the country and I teach people about resilience, courage, and leadership. So, today I'm going to talk about leadership, but not necessarily specifically how to, like, the nuts and bolts of situations and how to be a good leader, but really that you can build leadership, meaning it is a skill that can be learned, and it's also a skill that's perishable. The best leaders that I've worked for are people that study leadership. They read books, they are listening to podcasts, they are constantly doing things to improve themselves as a leader after years of being in a leadership position. A perfect example of this is I was talking to one of the former sheriffs here in Las Vegas on the phone the other day, and he's been retired now for 10 years, maybe longer. And we were talking about my book. I actually had him, as Doug Gillespie asked him to write a foreword for my book. And he recommended a leadership book to me. He's like, "Hey, I just read this book by this general, and it's really good. I think you should read it." And I said, I appreciate it. I wrote down the title, and it's on my list of things to read. And it made me think this is a man that, yes, he was an amazing leader, one that I worked for several times throughout my career. And a lot of people did. He was the sheriff of Clark County. But he's been retired that long and he is still studying leadership. It became something that he got pleasure from. And that is just so true for people in leadership positions is not only can you build those skills early on in your leadership journey, but it's also a skill that's perishable. It's like milk in your fridge. It has an expiration date. And if you just let it sit there untouched, it'll go bad. It's the same as leadership. If you stop learning, stop growing, stop investing in yourself, what you have to offer will diminish. And leadership, it has to be replenished. Your past successes don't guarantee future impact. What worked 5 years ago won't necessarily work today. What worked being a leader, 10 years ago, now let's say you're leading almost a different generation of workforce. And because of that, you have to change your leadership style. You have to, learn new lessons, have new perspectives, build new practices. And if you stagnate your leadership style, it can really affect the culture of a company or an agency. Because when a leader stops growing, it shows, and they repeat the same lines, lean on old habits, become predictable, and your employees sense it. And that culture starts to turn stale. And, there's a quote in President Obama's 21st Century Policing where it talks about how culture trumps policy every time. You can have a complete all-encompassing policy manual that dictates everything people need to do, but culture will defeat it. So you might be in policy, but if everybody is doing things a certain way, those policies get violated. The other thing about growth as a leader is it can keep you relevant. The best leaders I've known, like I said, are constant learners, and they mentor people. They keep filling up their tank so they have something new to pour into other people. Leadership is more than just making the right decisions in crisis, but it's about building up the people around you. And I took pieces from good leaders that I've had to build my own style and I had several different leadership positions. I was a sergeant, over our child abuse section and over K9 and in patrol. I was a lieutenant, a bunch of different jobs there, and even as a captain. And one thing that I always tried to do, because I also enjoyed it, was mentor and help the people around me grow. These small little habits that you build as a leader, they matter more than the big events. So, consistency matters. Doing what you say you're going to do, walking the walk, instead of just talking the talk. Like all of these things, your people that work for you see. When leaders stay sharp and curious, their teams do too. You have an impact on the people around you. I learned this lesson when I went to K9 as a sergeant. I was younger and had less time on the agency than most of the people that worked for me. But how I acted still impacted everybody that worked for me. So all eyes are on you in those moments. Just so I'll leave you with this. Remember, leadership is perishable. If you're not intentional, what you bring to the table will stop being relevant. But if you keep learning, you keep refreshing yourself, you keep stretching those leadership muscles, your style will stay fresh, and the people around you will notice the difference, and they'll continue also to thrive. Thank you for listening today. I appreciate you spending some time with me. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with a friend or subscribe, leave a review down below. And if you liked what you heard, there's a lot more in my book, The Courage to Live. It's available on Amazon, and I'll throw a link to purchase it in the description of this episode. Thank you.